PHP is a server-side web language that first stood for Personal Homepage on its initial release in 1995, but is now more of a recursive acronym that stands for PHP Hypertext Preprocessor. The idea behind the initial release was to make repetitive web tasks with HTML easier to do. PHP today is nearly nothing like the original version, but is still HTML-centric, which means it can be embedded directly into your HTML code. The ability to embed the PHP code directly in your HTML by using code blocks is a huge advantage in creating simple but powerful websites and applications. As a scripting language, PHP is also quite useful. Most of the time you hear PHP as it's related to web pages, but you can write and run scripts by adding the extension .php to the end of a file and call that file using the PHP CLI, or command line interpreter. PHP is a server-side language. Simply defined, a server-side language is one that uses embedded scripts in HTML that make requests from the client machine to the host website, which then processes that script before returning HTML responses to the client machine. As we're learning together the ins and outs of PHP, we're going to discuss some concepts, illustrate those concepts, and then move to workspaces and look at some practical programming examples. Here's what a common code block looks like inside of HTML. So the first thing we're going to start with is opening up a body tag and then closing it on the bottom. Then open up a normal paragraph tag, close it, then write the word hello, which will be a normal string. Now, typically you could just write out hello world and it would be normal HTML. But say we wanted to process that PHP code on the server and then respond that back to the client. The way we would do that is by opening up a PHP code block. To open up a PHP block, you're going to start with a less than symbol and then a question mark, followed by the letters PHP in lowercase. This will tell the interpreter that we want to run some PHP code within this section. Then we're going to start with opening a function like keyword called echo. So echo, then open up double quotes, and then the string or the word world, and then close our statement with a semicolon, which is how we close all statements in PHP. Then I'll follow that finally with an exclamation point. Once this leaves the server or leaves your local client machine and goes out to the server, the interpreter will read this and return back just a string hello world in HTML. Here is the server-side process illustrated for you. So this is our server-side process. We're going to start with a computer here, and then from this computer, we're going to send out a request. This request is going to go out to the cloud to our server, and that server, typically a Linux box with Apache or Nginx, will have a copy of the PHP interpreter, this case version 5x, maybe 5.5. This will actually process the script that was requested by the client machine and then respond back to that client machine after processing in HTML. When clients request a page containing a server-side script, then the server processes the scripts and returns the HTML to the client. For an example, a PHP page is not processed by the browser. Instead, it's interpreted by the server that can process PHP scripts and then returns an HTML page to the client.